Hello all, in today's session we will be studying variables and data types. Now what are variables? Variables helps you to store a particular data type. So whatever data that we are entering, either it can be a number, it can be a word, it can be a sentence. So this data types, it has been stored by assigning it to a variable. Variable is nothing but it stores your data in a memory location inside your PC. So whenever you want that particular data, you can access it by just typing the name of that variable. So I have defined over here, a variable is a name given to a memory location in a program. The example is A equals 30. This is the data type, 30 is a data type, Vishnu is a data type, 71.22 is a data type, A, B, C, okay, A, B and C are the variables. Now I assign A equals 30. Execute it. As I have typed over here A equals 30. So it has been said that number 30 is stored by a name A, which is a variable, and this variable has stored this data, that is 30, in a particular memory location. So let's check whether it is really been saved or not. Let me print it to check whether it is really saved in a memory location or not. Print A, enter. Yes, it has been saved, right? In the same way, we can even save a string. Print yes. Okay. After this, we go to keywords. Over here, what is keyword? Keywords are the name reserved inside the Python. Okay. You should never use these names because these names are already be assigned with certain function. Suppose if I say module, never use a module name like Flask, TensorFlow, OS. Never use this name as a name of a variable, or it can be a boolean, true, false. Never use true, false while assigning the name to a variable. So this will interrupt the entire program. Hence you should be very careful while assigning the name to a variable. The next topic is data types. Next we will be discussing data types. What are data types? For this, we will be taking a very simple example. Suppose you get a grocery from the market. So what your mother will do, she will take the grocery, she will identify sugar, salt, masala, and she will keep it in a different container, right? So for salt, there is a separate container, sugar there is a separate container, biscuit separate container, flour there is a separate container. In the same way, you give an input to the Python program, you type something, okay, as how you give the ingredients or groceries to your mother after getting from the market. The same way you give the input to the Python. So this input consists of addition, subtraction, it consists of numbers, it consists of alphabets, it consists of a sentence. So what does Python does is, as how your mother identifies it as a sugar, as a salt separately, and she keeps it in a different container. In the same way, Python identifies whatever input that you give, and it classifies this data into different data types such as strings, boolean, floating point number. So this is how we classify data types. So these are some of the mentioned data types: integers, strings, floating point number, boolean and none. Okay, so let us begin with the first type, integers. The examples are stated below. Integer is 71. Then floating is 88.44. Floating means it will just have a decimal point in between the number. This will convert it into a floating point number. Then string, as we already discussed, it will be a name inside the quotes. It can be either a single quote or a double quote, or it can be also a triple quote. You will be always getting the same answer. Now why to use the single quotes, double and triple quotes? That we'll be learning in a separate chapter called strings. So as of now, you just use only single quotes while writing a string. Let's begin with the first type, a equals 71. It is told that it has been identified as integer, int over here, right? Let's just check whether Python can actually identify it as integer or not. I have already assigned 30 over here. So now how to identify the type of it? Okay. It's simply you have to print in the bracket, write type. So the command type will give you what is the data type. So I want the type of A, executed, yes, it has given me integer. Let's try out floating point number. I will write 88.77, enter, print type B, execute, yes, it has given me a floating point number. D, a string, executed, print type D, yes, it has given me a string. So this is how it identifies based on the types. So these are the three types we have done: integer, strings and floating type. Last two are booleans and none. Let me take one example of boolean. C equals true, print type, yes, bool, bool is given over here as output. Yes, it is stored in the class boolean. E equals none, this is the last type, print type, yes, none types, right? So this is how we use the command type in order to see the data type. There are certain rules that we need to follow while naming a variable. First rule says that the variable name can contain alphabet, digits and underscore. Underscore is a special character. From the special character only underscore is allowed. So let us try this. A3 underscore equals 77. Control C. Score I have written right. Yes, it has given me integer. Yes, it has been saved. It functions well. Next, from the special characters only underscore is given. Let us try some point or comma. So let me try a point or comma. 9 point equals. Let's just see whether Python takes it or not. No, it has not accepted it. It is invalid. So Python is very smart. It identifies automatically. Next, a variable name can only start with an alphabet or an underscore, which means it can't start with digits. Go back. Let me start it with a digit. 9b equals 88. Invalid syntax. Works fine. Next, a variable name can't start with a digit. The same thing. No white space is allowed inside a variable. See, no white space is allowed. Let me type B. A white space is kept. B. D I will write. Yes, invalid syntax. Thirdly, the variable name is case sensitive. What is meant by case sensitive? The uppercase and lowercase. R, small r equals 99, enter. Capital R equals 88. As variable is case sensitive, so small r is saved separately and capital R is saved separately. Let's just print it. Print capital R Yes, we have got 88. Hence, Python identifies the variables also based on the type of case, that is the uppercase and the lowercase. The next subtopic is operators in Python. The first is arithmetic operators. We have already done this: addition, subtraction and division. Let me just try. 5 plus 7, addition, subtraction, multiplication. 3 multiplied by 4, 12. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Next is assignment operators. Assignment operator is assigning a certain value or adding a value to a variable, multiplying a value to a variable, subtracting the value from the variable. So these are the arithmetic operators that we have to use. The first one, say R. Let us take one example. R equals 88. So what I will do is T equals, if I want to take the value from R, right, we are assigning the value of R to T, okay, from one particular variable to another particular variable. Let me print it. Print T. Yes, we have got 88. So we have successfully assigned the value of R to the variable T. Next, addition. Next is addition. T equals, now the value of T is 88. I want it to be 90. So I will add equal to 2. If I add 2, it will be 90, right? Add equals 2 value to the variable T. Print variable T again. Yes, successfully we have added the value 2 to the variable T. The same way is the subtraction. Subtract 10 from 90. It will give me 80. As of now, the value of T is 80. I want the value of T as 40. The value of T is 80. I will divide T by 2. After printing this, after printing T, I will get it as 40. Next, we will multiply 40 with 2. We'll multiply 40 with 2. We got 80. Yes. Next is comparison operator. The comparison operator is used to compare two different values. After comparing, it will give me the statement whether it's a true or a false. Hence, it will return me a boolean. After the execution of comparison, it will return me either a true if the comparison is true, or it will return me a false. Let's just try this. 55 is greater than 2. This is true, so it has given me a true. 55 is less. Suppose I do 55 is less than 9. It is a false. If I say 55 double equal to, is it equal to 9? No, false. Next, 55 less than equal to 55. Is it equal to 55? Yes, it is equal to 55. So hence it will return me a true. The last is not equal to. It is not equal to 50. 55 is not equal to 7, right? So it should return me a true boolean. Logical operators. Logical operators. There are three logical operators: AND, OR, and NOT. The first one we will take AND. In order to use this, we will take an example. Suppose in an actual case, Ram is a boy and Ram stays in Mumbai, right? If I make any change in that particular statement, suppose I say Ram is a girl, so the first statement is false. Suppose I say Ram stays in Hyderabad, so that becomes a false statement. Let's experiment this. Ram is a boy and he stays in Mumbai. In an AND statement, whenever we have true and true, it will always return me a true. If there is a single false, it will return me a false. Ram is a boy and he stays in Mumbai, it should return me a true. Yes, both of the statements are true. If any of the statement is false, suppose Ram is a boy and Ram stays in Hyderabad, if I say, which means it is a false statement. So total it should be a false. If both the statements are false, suppose Ram is a girl and Ram stays in Hyderabad. Actually Ram stays in Mumbai, right? Yes, so it returns me a false. Next is OR operation. In OR statement, we give a chance to select a true among them. Okay, suppose Ram is a boy and Ram stays in Hyderabad. So first statement is true, right? So we will be selecting the first statement true and the output will be true. So we will be selecting the first statement, that is Ram is a boy, and the output will be true. Ram is a boy or Ram stays in Hyderabad. So the output should be true. Next, if both are false in an OR statement, it always return me a false because you don't give it a chance to select among them, right? Both are false, so obviously you have to select a false from there. There is no true over there. If both are true, obviously you select any one among them, it will be returning me a true from it. The last logical operator, NOT, you try it by yourself. Next is type. We have already discussed the type. How to find a type? Use the type command in the print option and you can find the type of class it is, whether it's a boolean, whether it's an integer. The next is typecasting. What is typecasting? Typecasting is converting from one particular data type to another particular data type. If I have a number 30 is an integer, but I want to convert that integer into string. Yes, of course you can convert that integer into string. So how to convert it? Let's get started with conversion of integers to string. So A equals 30, enter. If I check the type of A, it's an integer. It's converted into a string. So str of A. If I write this, A will be getting converted into a string. Okay. Yes, it has got converted into a string. We can see the quotes. Yes. Now we will check the type of A, whether it is stored as a string or not. No, it has not been stored as a string. It is returning me an integer, which means the operation of conversion to string is been done, but it is not been stored inside it, right? Now what we need to do is, whenever we convert it into a different data type, we have to assign a separate variable to it. Then it will be saved into that particular type which you are assigning it into that particular data type. Let me try it. Say B equal, I will try it separately. Say B equal this particular thing, B equals str of A. Let me run it. Type of B. Yes, it has got converted into a string. If I want to convert B into a floating type, I will have to use a separate variable to it, float of B enter type of k. This will give me a float. So this is how you convert it from one particular type of data to another particular type of data. Whenever you are converting it, it should be possible, right? So if I want to convert 30 into a float, yes, it can be converted into a float. Into an integer, yes, it can be converted into an integer. Into a string, yes, it can be converted. But if I want to consider a name ABC, I want to convert that particular name ABCD into a float. Can it be converted? No, it cannot get converted, because for a float, for an integer, you require a number for it. Let's just try it. II equals, assign a string to it. We'll assign a string hello all. Enter. I'm converting this into a float or a int. Let me consider a int. II. Enter. No. Value error. Invalid literal. Okay. Literal. So invalid literal. You can't take the alphabets over here. There should be a numbers. So this literal is not valid. Right? So Python even identifies whether it is possible to convert into a float, into an integer or not. Okay, so that's smart Python is. Moving towards the next type, input functions. What the input function does is, input function allows you to enter a string whenever the command is executed. Let's try it. Let me type it. Input, open the, let me try. Please enter your name. Give it a space. This u equals, you have to assign a variable name to it. Shift enter. See, it is asking me for a name over here. I will write Vishnu. Enter. Please enter your name, Vishnu. In the same way, if you want a number, you can always request a number. Please enter a number. Enter. You can type a number. Yes. A number is been stored in the variable u. If we check the type of this, the type is always a string. Even if you save a number, it will be a string, because it is into the single quotes. Whenever you take anything inside a single quote, Python considers it as a string. Even if you enter a number, Python won't see anything, it will just consider it as a string. It won't use its brain directly, it will be considering it as string. Print type of u, it will give me a string. Let's solve the exercise problem. The first problem states that write a Python program to add two numbers. Add two numbers, and a equals, suppose the first number is 9, the second number b equals 10. Let me assign a separate variable for the addition of it, a plus b. Enter. Print single quotes, the added number are the added sum of the number is the comma over here, write f over here. The added sum of the number is 19. So we have got the addition of 9 and 10 is 19. Second problem, write a Python program to find if we get the remainder when one number is divided by another number. Next problem is on remainders. Second problem, remainder. In order to find the remainder, we use the % sign. I will take the first number as 8, second number as 2. Okay. If I divide 8 by 2, I will get 4. So there won't be any remainder. Let k equals k. We have to use the % symbol if I want to find the remainder after division. Now print k. The remainder is 0. Next problem, check the type of variable assigned. Using the input function, we have to check the type of variable assigned. The third problem, 3. Problem. We have to check what is the type we get from the input command. Please enter, I will write enter your name. I have entered the name. Let me check the type of it. In order to check the type directly, you can write type or you can say print of type. You will be getting the same answer. It has written me string. In the same place, if I have entered the number, even if I have entered the number over here, it would have given me a string. I will write a type of f. Yes, it returns me a string. Next, use the comparison operators to find out whether the given variable a is greater than b or not. A is 34 and b is 80. I will copy it directly. Problem number 4. We copied it. Enter. Right. We have to compare whether the given variable is greater than b or not. Okay, a is greater than b or not. So I will write a greater than b. If it is greater, it will return me a true. If it is not, it will return me a false. A is not greater than b, hence it has returned me a false. Next, write a Python program to find the average of two numbers entered by the user. Means I can't enter it. A user has to enter it. So what we need to do is, we have to give the input command or input function over here. Next, problem number 5. A equals input. Please enter the first number and B equals please enter the second number. A will be taken as a string. I have to convert this A to an integer. So C equals int of A, and even the B I need to convert. D equals int of B. Next, print average. AVG average. I will type AVG G equals C plus D divided by 2. Enter. My first number is 8. Enter. Second number say 4. The average is 6. Next, the last one, write a Python program to calculate the square of a number entered by a user. Sixth problem. Change this I. Here I will be taking an input. Please enter the number to be square. I take the number. Next, you have to square it. JJ equals, to square it you can multiply with each other. Shift enter. I want a square of 5. I have to print this, right? Print JJ square of 5 25, right? So this is the answer which I have got. In the problem number 6, what we did is we multiplied 5 twice, that is 5 raised to 2. It returned me 25. Okay. Suppose in case if it is not 5 raised to 2, if it suppose it has a very high power term, suppose it is 5 raised to 25. So in that case, will you be multiplying 5 continuously 25 times? Is that possible to multiply it? No. In that case, what you need to do is, instead of multiplying it continuously in such a big power term, you have to just use the asterisk sign twice. So whenever you use the asterisk sign twice, it means it is raised to. So 5 raised to 2, it is 25. 5 raised to 3, it is 125. Suppose if you have a very big term like 25, so using asterisk sign twice, it means it is raised to, and you will be getting your answer at a very faster rate. So we are done with today's class. Let's meet up in the next class. Thank you all.